Hello, everybody, and welcome to another one in our series, Breaking Down Barriers. My name is Chris Igwe, and what I do is I take you through some chapters in my book, which is Breaking Down Barriers, My Journey from a Small African Village to the World Stage. And in this book, essentially, I delve through some thoughts and ideas that I have, and which I've expressed through this book in terms of my ideas, my philosophy, and giving you some personal stories as well to help you in your own discovery and your own journey. Now, this particular one is entitled Find Your Voice. Find Your Voice. And I wanted to spend a few minutes just going through that and just get a better sense of what I mean by find your voice. You see, all of us are just born unique. We are all unique. Wherever we're from, whichever culture, nationality, we are unique as human beings. My wife is a midwife and she's delivered over her career some 2,000 plus babies, including triplets, including twins, identical twins, triplets, whatever. And what's interesting is that not only her, but even the parents that I've had the chance to meet, not all of them because they're her clients, but some of them over time have just given me some insight into the fact that even though they have delivered twins, the twins may dress exactly the same, behave the same, do lots of different things the same as we know twins and triplets and quadruplets do. But there's always something that they say, this particular child does this or does that or says this, or there's a unique feature that very often, yes, only the parents can see because they're in closest proximity to them. But my point is that that is a clear and simple example of the uniqueness of each of us. So when you talk about finding your voice, or I do, what I'm saying is, what is your unique story that you have to tell? What is it that is unique about the way you communicate, the way you express yourself, the way you think? Because voice is about ideas, it's about thoughts, it's about perceptions, it's about beliefs, it's about ideas, it's about philosophies. We all have voices that are different one from another. If we go back to when we were at school, if you remember, you may not have been one of those who would sit in the front of a class. Many people who I know in class, in those days when you get in and you pick a place, I would normally sit at the back, not because I didn't want to be picked on, but because I had a kind of rowdy temperament, if you like. I was always quiet, but a little bit rowdy with a few of my friends, and we'd sit at the back, depending on the teacher, depending on the class, and depending on how we wanted to communicate our thoughts. But there are those who sit at the front, but there are those who wouldn't want to sit at the front because they don't want to get called on. They don't want to have their voice kind of made to be expressed. And that is part of what I want to say. Many of us, over time, our voices become deeper and deeper embedded in us. They're not a part of our daily way of life. If you remember as well, less so today with the way children are brought up and our behavior and so on, even with my own children, let alone grandchild, is that back in our day, you would have the child's table or the children's table, the number of birthday parties, weddings I've been to, or events like that, where there's children. You sit in one area and the adults sit in another. And the idea was limited to the fact that that would be a child's conversation or young people's conversation, as opposed to an adult who said you can't actually talk across different age groups. And remember when often you'd hear the expression, don't speak unless you're spoken to. And we grow up with these preconceived ideas and beliefs that are impressed upon us every single day, that our voice goes lower and lower and lower. Our ability to express ourselves is no longer as fluid. I'm sure you've been there. Many of us have. You're in a meeting and maybe you want to say something, but you feel intimidated. You feel that what you say might be wrong. You might make the wrong statement or ask a silly question. There is never a silly question, but you've got to feel comfortable in yourself to be able to do that. When I'm doing trainings or seminars, for example, I will look out and understand those. There are always those who talk a lot. That's the same in every walk in life, every situation. Those who are always the loudest, and there are the quieter ones. And I'll scour the room, see, obviously, being a good trainer, you have to bring people in so that it is a conversation, a discussion. a debate, an engagement. Everybody feels they're part of it. And what I'll often do is, I don't pick on people necessarily, unless I do say I'm going to pick on certain people, so I make sure they're aware. But it depends on the circumstances. But for now, let's say you talk to someone and you say, I see you're rather quiet over there. Can I see if there's anything that you want to add to what has been said already? So I'll often ask them the question after everybody else has spoken, so they're not the first ones to speak, and say, based on what you've heard here, what do you think? What are your thoughts? What are your ideas? How does this sit with you? And then 9 times out of 10, that person or those people will speak. They will say something. But you have to allow them the space to feel that they are going to be heard. Here's what Stephen Covey says in the book. This is one of the things I quote. Stephen Covey, an American author and educator, trainer, he said, find your voice and inspire others to find theirs. Find your voice and inspire others to find theirs. So my hope is that through this book, for example, you are inspired to find your voice. I'm encouraging you. I'm giving you approval to express your own voice, to say what you think. Don't get caught up with not saying what you think. If you're in a meeting tomorrow or during this week, whether it's family or whether it's business, you may come to a point where in the meeting it's any other business, any other comments, anybody got something to add or say. And then as you get stronger, you're one of the first ones. You put your hand up. I want to say something. I have something to contribute to this conversation and to this debate. But I also want to say that when you find your voice and you share your voice, it's not just the vocal form. It can also be written. It can also be in the book. It could be articles. I write articles for magazines and journals. It could be that. The written form is also a part of you that travels through. In this book, my style is there. The Chris Igwe style is there. My use of language, certain types of words, certain expressions. There are things that become your trademark, become a part of you. So when you find your voice and you express it in a vocal or written form, that is you. And we can go further into this in different ways, but I just want to highlight the fact that do not allow your desire to express yourself, your desire to bring that voice out, be in any way inhibited by anyone. Find your uniqueness because you are unique. Grow your ability and your strength. Not everybody may want to speak like this on YouTube to people I don't know, I may never see, will probably never see, or standing on a stage and speaking to people. Or even, as you know, just the idea of, again, back to the school, you wouldn't want to stand up and speak in front of your class because most of us would rather die than speak. We fear the idea of public speaking. And yet it's one of the most powerful tools. Obviously, it's part of communication, but I just want to focus on the voice part in terms of today's video. So I encourage you, I implore you to go out there, challenge yourself to be better, greater, more exciting in terms of what you do. And I hope that this video has somehow inspired or given you some ideas and thoughts. And I want you to go away and explore them and see how you can include them in your own daily life as a stepping stone to wherever you want to be. So please feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and I hope to see you in one of the next videos coming up on building or breaking down barriers, should I say. Breaking down barriers, building blocks to the future. Thank you, and I will see you soon.